Yo, what is up, Red Nation? Just ran all out mile. It's actually surprisingly didn't feel too bad, because I think when you've been doing mostly long stuff like I've been doing, I actually haven't done a track workout in like 2 months, but when you're doing like long stuff like this, your body obviously like adapts to using oxygen and stuff, and so it uses it from like your whole body, and so like I honestly didn't feel that like painful. Of course the last 100, it's kind of like, you're swimming, but it honestly wasn't too bad for that reason. It's not like, how you sprint all out for 200 meters and you're like dead. That's how I used to feel after miles, but and that's probably how I should feel if I was to actually go absolute 100%. That's probably how it should feel. But anyway, it wasn't too bad. And when I say bad, I just mean painful. I don't mean, obviously pain is good and whatnot and all that Andrew Tate stuff, but it's like, I think I can run. I mean, us runners, we love the ifs. I think if it was like perfect conditions, I could run like 5:35, 5:34ish. And I think definitely by the end of the year, or definitely, I feel like if I gave it like a few weeks and I tapered right, I could definitely go in 5:30. But of course my goal before the end of the year is sub 5, which is going to take a lot of doing. So I don't know if that's possible. It's all but it's like, you got to believe it. You can believe in one thing and believe in something else at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you can believe, like I can say I believe I can run sub 5, but I'm also not going to be disappointed if I don't. I'm only going to be disappointed if I don't, put my best foot forward. And there was this gnat living up inside my nose. Did you look at that? But yeah, it was fun, as always. Road to sub 5. I don't know what it's going to be called yet. Sub 5 forever. Sub 5 Nation. Vote for sub 5. 2012. I'm not sure. But anyway, I love y'all. I love you all. Actually, and I was thinking about this, is like, sometimes you need that hate in order to motivate yourself, because hate pushes you from the back, as in, it does give you some motivation in the short term, but of course love draws you forward. And when something draws you forward, it's like you're chasing something, you're following something, versus when something's pushing you from the back, it's really unsteady and you're not really sure where it's going. And that's anger, it's unpredictable, and it's just something to channel. Anyway, but I just got kicked out of a band for like some really silly reasons, in my opinion. They were upset that literally, this is the second time it's the second time we've performed, and it was at this person's house. It was the guitarist's house, and she's like, I'm there, and I drove like 4.5 hours to get there, which I'm not going to complain about that, because I'd love to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not, and I'm not even saying that to be like, oh, I'm really humble and I'm cool and whatever, righteous. No, it's just like, factually, like, I love to do it, and I want to be with these friends, that I met at my time in college. And so I get there, and she's like, we play for a little bit. I got there at like 10 o'clock, so it's like we played a little bit, practiced a little bit, and then we went to bed. But like before we went to bed, we had like these conversations, and she was like, or it wasn't, I keep saying she, like I'm blaming her. I'm not trying to blame anyone, but this is what happened. Is that we're all sitting around, and as her friends and everybody's friends, and we're talking, and apparently they didn't like how I like mumble in my breath. For example, so I'll be like, so I was talking to this girl, and she's saying something like she talks kind of like in a Brooklyn accent, and so I'm not gonna try to impersonate it, because I don't want to like seem rude, I guess. But she was like doing this accent, and I kept like making these like facial expressions of the people, like, and she'd say some wild stuff. She'd say some stuff like, You know, we used to live in paradise, you know? We used to live 10,000 years ago. And I would say stuff like, under my breath, and I'm like, well, yeah, we kind of like, still had malaria and, died before 20 and stuff like this, and I'm like, I get it, how you can think it's rude, but the fact is, you don't know me yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't judge people, because that's like the whole thing about this generation, is like, we're not supposed to judge people by what we see at first. And that's kind of like a big thing in all religions and stuff like this, we shouldn't judge people on the surface level. And it's like, and I was engaging with the girl, like it was really interesting what she was talking about, but that's how I talk to myself, and that's how I like joke with other people, is I act like I'm rude, but if you know me, you'll know that, or if you get to know me, you'll know that that's kind of a quirk of mine. And I don't think and you could argue, oh, it's kind of bad, you shouldn't be rude. But like, I would also argue that if you're super nice, it's just as fake. It's just as bad. It's just as, and I wouldn't say bad, but it's just as, maybe, I don't know. I'm just saying, I just have a different way of going about it. And also, there's a difference between being nice and being kind. It's like, I was trying to be, like, there's nice is just like your surface level stuff, like you can say, like, have a good day, stuff like this. But it's like, I was trying to be kind, because I was trying to be, and I'm trying to be, this is my perspective, and I don't know. But like, I'm trying to, like, I would ask, what can I help with and stuff like this. I asked, actually, that same girl the next morning was making breakfast, and I was like, you need any help or anything? And she was like, no, I got it. And I was like, okay, good. But then, like, we play at the backyard and stuff, and this is what I'm most upset about, is I actually, like, really like her family. Her family's super nice. I talked with her dad late into the night just about, like, stuff that he's been through, and it's really cool, because he's in his 50s, and I'm like, I'd love to learn from different people and stuff like this. But yeah, so I did again. I'm just like talking to myself, I just kind of like fade off the family that's rude, so I gotta start doing that. Anyway, stuff like that, when people like criticize you, it makes you double down, you know what I'm saying? Like, it makes me like, when somebody says, I remember this one time I was like playing drums in the band room, and these people were trying to talk to each other, and I was playing it super loud, and they told me, stop, like, they yelled at me, and I played even louder, because like, I am going to ask you nicely, and I know, I get it, I was being super loud and I was being annoying, and I'm not saying, I don't think I did the right thing. I should have just stopped and, not been loud and annoying. I should have done that. But I'm just saying, this is the reason I do stuff like that, is because I'm telling you that there is a nicer way to say it, and that you saying things a certain way is actually going against what you should be, like, what you're, like, how you say it is just as important as what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to illustrate that point to you. I'm trying to, you give me negative energy and I'm giving you negative energy. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's how it should be in the world. Obviously, forgiveness is a very important concept. We should give back better things than what we're given. That's a big Christian concept, and really religions in general. But we should do that. And that's what when I play loud and stuff like that, that's what I'm trying to say, is that I'm giving you negative things because you give me negative things. In reality, if someone gave me negative things, I would try to do something nice. Obviously, I'm very imperfect, and today's actually Mother's Day, and I'm like, bro, I wrote like a poem last year for my mom, but like, I haven't actually done anything for her, you know what I'm saying? Like, I still, like, she still cooks dinner half the time, and I'm like, why do I do this stuff, over half, honestly. Yeah, I'm kind of a baby, but anyway, back to the story. So it's like, we play the concert stuff, and like, I'm really getting along with family and stuff, and then I get this random text. Like, I thought it was all good, like, I said bye to people, and like, it didn't seem like a big deal, but I got this random text like yesterday, and it was like, you were really disrespectful to everyone thought you were uncomfortable, everyone was uncomfortable around you and stuff like this. And it's like, yeah, I've been through that. I get told this a lot, and I'm like, okay, I'm just not the kind of person. See, I used to suck up to people, and even when you suck up to people, they'll still treat you bad because they can. because they can treat you bad. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't really suck up to people anymore as much as I used to because of that reason. Because I don't want other people to think that I can just be tossed around. I don't want anyone to think that they can toss other people around, you know? So anyway, I lost my train of thought. But she was saying this stuff, and she said, like, you to be asked multiple times to help and stuff. And I'm like, factually, I can't get mad about these things because I know what happened. Is factually, I asked to get help. Now, I wasn't there all the time because I was sometimes in the guest bedroom, like, writing and stuff, because I just do that when I get nervous or when I get bored or something. And stuff like this. But I asked the parents when they were cooking, I asked if I could help them and stuff like this. Like, I think that, again, like, she doesn't know the whole story, and, you know, no one knows the whole story of the world, and so you can't judge the people. I can't even judge her because I don't know what she's been through, you know. And it's like, well, you can judge. That's the thing. We think we can judge, but we can't. We can't actually judge because we don't know the whole story. You know how a judge in a case has all this evidence from multiple perspectives. We can't judge because we don't have all the perspectives. We can do the best we can. But when you strike the verdict, when you strike the gamble, whatever that thing's called, the wooden hammer, when you strike that, that's annoying because I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, when you strike that and you know very little evidence, that's just unjust. You know, that's why we have juries. And she said that she went to multiple people and they said the same thing, but I didn't get that vibe. Like, she said that I was disrespectful to that girl I was talking to, but I literally, like, I thanked her deeply because she was helping put drums in and equipment in, and I said thank you so much because she was like the only one helping. And it was me, it was the bass guitarist who helped a lot, and he's really cool. I think that he's kind of getting drawn to not to the dark side, I shouldn't say that, but he's agreeing with her because of just the fact that, you know, they play together and they've known each other a lot longer and stuff. I don't know if he actually thinks that I did something wrong. Maybe he's just joining the party. I can't tell. But, you know, yeah, they were saying stuff like I'm disrespectful and all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, then if you want to see change in the world, you have to give people multiple opportunities. I'm not going to say multiple chances because chances, I haven't really thought this through yet. I need to journal about this, but yeah, like, multiple chances is like, you can give someone like an addict, you can give them chance after chance after chance, and they're still going to abuse it. You know what I'm saying? But if you give someone an opportunity, it just sounds fancier to me. It just sounds like you're seeing their flaws and you're trying to see how they can fix themselves, you know. But they didn't even give me a second opportunity. They barely gave me a first opportunity, you know. And I'm just like, if you want to see genuine change in the world, you have to be patient with people. You have to learn their story. You have to learn what they've been through. And that's what I'm having trouble with, is that I'm wanting to give back the anger that I have right now, but I can't, because I have to be better, in the sense that I have to be more understanding. I have to be more knowledgeable about what I'm doing, because there's a lot of things I want to say that are just negative and they just come from a place of hate. But I need to come at this from a place of understanding too. Even though the situation is bad, I don't have to be bad in the situation. Okay? And that's where I'm at right now. I need to be patient with them. Also, they said this thing. They said that, like, there was this girl who talked about her story about getting stalked. And the thing is, I naturally know that that's a bad thing, obviously. Most people do. And so it doesn't even really enter my mind that it could be a good thing, obviously. So I'm not the kind of person that's going to be like, oh, I'm so sorry, because that's already a given. You know what I'm saying? I am sorry that happened. You know what I'm saying? We don't wake up every morning and think about the Holocaust. And it's good to be mentally aware that it happened every now and then, but it's just a given that we feel bad and we should grow from it. You know what I'm saying? Which feeling bad is, you can grow from. Again, the feeling bad is the push in the back. It's not the pulling you forward. But anyway, it's like, but she was saying this stuff, and I'm just coming at it from a perspective, because I was kind of like, I'm the only white guy in the room. I think I'm the only white person in the room. And I'm just like trying to come at it from the perspective of, you don't know what that guy's been through either. You know what I'm saying? And I know that sounds really bad, but that's why we have to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, sex ed and stuff like this. It's bad, but it's like, we have to talk about it. Otherwise, it'll just get swept under the rug. Why are these people the way they are? Well, if we ignore them and we don't try to understand, there's just going to be more of those stalking type of people in the world. Now, I understand that there are some people that are just born psychopaths from genetics. You know what I'm saying? But I just came at it from this perspective. Like, she explained it, and I was like, yeah, well, I'm sorry that happened to you, but, I hope that, he's okay. You know what I'm saying? And I think that because society sympathizes for the victim but not the villain, that's the reason that they got mad at me at that point, is because I've been a villain. Of course, everyone's been a villain at some point. Everyone's been a victim at some point. And you have to realize that these aren't black and white things. They're both. Victims are villains and villains are victims most of the time. Like I said, you can argue there's some gray area, but like, that's my argument, is that I did not mean it in any mean way. Of course, I'm sorry that happened, but I'm just trying to get people to understand, as a man, and as someone, a man, and as someone who hears these negative things about men a lot often. And trust me, there's negative things said about all kinds of people. You know what I'm saying? Women as well. Women especially, if not, But honestly, that's why I think that there's been, like, as a man, I see this shift in society where it's like men were kind of expected to act a certain way in the 2010s, which is actually something me and that girl talked about, and we were agreeing with each other. So I don't know what this came from that I made her uncomfortable. I don't know. But, it's like in the 2010s and stuff, men were it was kind of like an odd thing. Masculinity was being questioned and stuff like this. And now we're at a point where it's like people, like, men are actually expected, like, we're swinging the other way of the pendulum, where now we're expected to be like kind of aggressive. And that's kind of weird, isn't it? Like, we see these people online that say they had toxic masculinity but disguise it as positive masculinity, because men don't really know what positive masculinity looks like, and so they confuse it because it taps into their angry minds, and so it pushes them forward into uncanny directions. But toxic masculinity is the thing that draws you forward. It's the thing that is in front of you, and it's the thing that we should be striving for. But anyway, so now we're swinging the other end of the pendulum, and I think, but we don't have to go back to the Middle Ages where, the men ruled everything. We can stop it right now if we take the time to understand what the problems are and to sympathize with the villains. And it's hard, it's hard to think about Hitler and not think about the 80 million people he led to their deaths, I mean, the Japanese had their own stuff, but you know what I'm saying. 30 million or so. Which is insane to even just to casually say. It's unreal. But we can't just be positive. Sometimes you need that edge, you know what I'm saying? And that is... So anyway, the whole point of me bringing this up was that it really didn't make me mad that this happened. It just makes me sad. Like, I'm not being pushed forward or anything. It just makes me sad that it happened, because I had these plans, and I'm moving up to where they live, like 45 minutes away from where they live, in just a few months. And I'm like, they were one of the reasons I was moving up. And it just makes me sad. But maybe life is supposed to be like that. Maybe it started and ended at just the right time. And maybe it's time that I focus on something else. I'm not mad that it happened. I'm not sad. I'm not sad that it happened. I'm just sad that it happened the way it did. Okay. But it's just a blip in history. You know what I'm saying? It's just a blip in history, and I just gotta remember that. I'm about to go write like this kind of like paragraph thing and send it to both of them and just be like, that's what I think. That's what I think. And that's how it is, because you can feel a certain way about somebody. Obviously we feel bad to think, I don't know. You can feel, basically what I'm trying to say, you can feel bad about somebody, but you can think of them a different way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel bad that there are evil people in the world, murderers, the R words. You can feel bad, obviously, and you deserve to feel bad about those people, but you can think differently. Not think good, but just understand them. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to feel, just because you, like, understanding is not a form of approving. You know what I'm saying? Understanding is just a form of thinking, just a way of thinking about somebody. So you're thinking about the idea of somebody. You're not thinking about them so much, their actions so much. You know what I'm saying? You're thinking about them as a person, not them as a victor or a villain. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, that's that. 538.88. We got a long way to go, baby. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I just need to get this on my chest, because it's been really bugging me. It's just made me sad. But man, sad is just another emotion that pushes you forward. You don't know where it's gonna go, but it's like, if you harness it, bro, it can take you some cool places. And so let's do it. Let's do it, man. Love y'all. Peace, love, and plants.